Hello everyone, welcome to Babyjace's Challenge Mode Gold Everbloom Updated Guide. This is the guide you've all pretty much been asking for ever since they made the changes way back in like early February or March or something like that. So here it is. I am going to actually be the DPS Unholy DK in this, while my friend Dreams is going to be the Blood DK. As you noticed, we pretty much go down and we pull everything together, we just grip it, and you generally want to AoE burn it down. Now, if your DPS isn't high enough to just burn everything down, like all of those mobs before you start dying, you can always split the pull up into two different pulls, and it really won't matter. See, here we actually pretty much did this pull with only 4 people because our shaman didn't realize we had started yet, and I mean, he got there like really late and did about 1/3 of the damage of everyone else. So it's definitely possible to do if you don't have like the strongest damage. It's still possible to do. Anyways, once you've killed those mobs, you're gonna want to go ahead and make this jump. This jump is pretty similar to how it was in my other video. I don't think anything really changed on here. As you can see, I still completely suck at it, and I have yet to make this jump. But some people decide that they want to spend a long time practicing it, so if you have someone in your group who can easily make this jump and then has like a mammoth mount or a yak mount, awesome, because that's what you're going to need, because if you're like me and you can't make the jump, you're going to need to have someone with those mounts be on the edge so you can jump up into them. Now once you've gotten to this clearing, you're going to want to go ahead and pull all of these mobs in one pull if you can do it. If not, you can take it one pull at a time. It is, I don't really like doing that though, because in my opinion, each pack by themselves is pretty bad. Like all of them are bad, and you're just splitting them all up, and you're splitting your cooldowns in between all 3 of them instead of, like, you're having to split your cooldowns for each separate pull instead of using them all on one pull and getting them all out of the way immediately. Just make sure you have chain interrupts or kicks or, you know, AoE stuns. Blood Elf Silence is really good for the casters. Just try not to let them get heals off. If they don't heal, that pull will go down easily. So you have Cap Totem or Leg Sweep. Anyways, once you pull the boss, go ahead and pull him all the way back. Now he's going to put these roots out on range, so if you're the only range, you're going to get every single root. So try and spread them out evenly along the boss so that the water globules that he summons in his phase 2 run along the roots, and you can just keep nuking into the boss. And this is because he takes 100% more damage when he runs out of water. Once he does run out of water, you're going to want to go ahead and hit all of your cooldowns and use your Bloodlust or Time Warp or whatever, and you're just going to want to burn him down. You can even use potions here. You won't really need them for a little bit, so this is the perfect time. You're going to want to use every cooldown and burn him down in one go. So as you can see, our DK tank was kind of gripping water globules inside the roots so that you don't really have to deal with them. Because if they hit a root, they turn into an ad, and the ad is super easy to manage. While everyone, and it saves a lot of damage if you don't have to kill them, because you can just keep nuking into the boss. As you see here, you want to burn them in one go, so that it's pretty much an easy boss. If you can't burn them in one go, it's going to be a lot harder on your time. Now, for this next jump, you actually need to have either a yak or a mammoth to make it. See, I didn't know that. Now I was informed, and I went on my yak. The jump is actually a lot easier to make. Like, this jump is really easy to make. So, as long as you guys have yaks and mammoths, you're going to make that jump super easily. And so here I forgot about Dark Sims, and I had the dragon on my bars. And then I was dismounted because I got into combat. But you're going to want to pull a lot of these mages together, AoE grip them together or stun them. As you can see here, we got a good majority of them. And then if you're a DK, you're going to want to find the Putrid Pyromancers, and you're going to want to Dark Sim the Dragon's Breath. And this is going to do a lot of AoE frontal damage. Unfortunately, our other DK got it. I did not, because our warrior dragon roared. As you will soon realize, he likes to dragon roar a lot when we're trying to Dark Sim on some of the later pulls. But if you're a DK, try and get the dragon roar, and then if you're going to be next to them, you don't want your dragon roar to be interrupted by theirs, so you can just AMS and then just dragon roar. And it does a lot of damage. But once you've killed them, they're going to spawn spore images, and all they do is cast Frostbolt or like Arcane Blast, stuff like that. You want to kill them before you do the boss, because they do a lot of damage, and they don't just cast on the tank. They cast on other targets as well, and if you pull the boss with a lot of those spore images, it's going to be really hard to kill them and not wipe. I mean, I know you can do it if you have incredibly high damage and you're going for like a world time. But if you're not doing that, you just want to pull all those mages, burn them down, burn the spore images, and then get ready to pull the boss. What we did here is we hexed one of the mages that was padding, and we left the Putrid Pyromancer up. And the reason why is because we have DKs, and we want to Dark Sim the Putrid Pyromancer and use the Dragon's Roar on the boss. It does a lot of damage. See where we had 2 Death Knights, so it was definitely worth using pulling that extra mob and dealing with it, because I mean, you can get about 2 Dragon's Breaths in one boss fight, and it makes it way easier to deal with. This boss works identical to Heroic, but the major change is you only want to kick her her Parasite once, her Parasitic Growth. You do not want to kick it more than once, because if you get into the Arcane phase, she's going to start pulsing Arcane Blast, and in Challenge Mode, it does a massive amount of damage, and you will wipe. I'm pretty sure the only way you can live by going, if you accidentally go into an Arcane phase, is if she is already about to die anyways. Because if she gets off like more than 2 Chaos Blasts, you will die. Like, there's no way you're not going to die. It does a lot of damage. Just don't even waste your time. Just don't waste your time. Now, if you do kick her, she will summon a Spore Image. The Spore Image she summons is irrelevant. Don't damage it. It despawns. The one that you saw there on the screen was the one from the mage that we pulled. And so once you kill that boss, you're going to want to head over to the Council boss. And this is also a really good boss for DKs and Dark Sim in general. You're going to want to AoE grip them all together, and you're going to want to Dark Sim the Earthshaper's Bramble Patch and use it on Dulu, which is the big giant Hulk guy. So you're going to want to Bramble Patch him, and it's going to do a massive amount of damage. As for this fight, it's a pretty simple fight. Burn him down. Make sure you kick Rapid Tides and Revitalizing Waters. You do not want to let either abilities go off. The Rapid Tides will make them start chain casting their abilities that you don't want them to cast, and the Revitalizing Waters will actually heal them for a dramatic amount. Now, pretty much the main reason here that the bosses are not dying here, or are dying really slow, is because every time we try Dark Simming the Bramble Patch, our warrior decided he was just going to Dragon Roar and not let that go off. That is pretty obnoxious. Every time he did it, it's really obnoxious. As you also see here, the addled Arcanomancer from the one that we hexed before we pulled the second boss is now finally joined us, and you can just cleave it down. It really doesn't do anything. Like, I mean, it does extra cast on your tank. Just kick it whenever you can. Assuming that you're actually able to Dark Sim Bramble Patch, this boss fight will die like within a minute or two, or maybe 2 minutes is probably too long. But this boss dies incredibly fast if you can actually Dark Sim the Bramble Patch. So if you can't do it, it's actually shaves a minute. If you can do it, it shaves a minute off your time. If you can't do it, it's a pretty big time sink. So if you mess it up and you're barely short of getting that gold, this is definitely a boss where you can make up that time if you have a DK. Okay, once you've killed this boss, you should have 30 out of 30 enemies done. Or you should be at like 29 out of 30. And the reason why you want to do this is you don't want to pull the spider. You can actually go to the side here where you saw them jump. I almost pulled the spider, and then I quickly realized what was going on. And you can just jump down that little cliff and then go up. And you just don't want to pull the spider. He has way too much health, and he does a lot of damage. And there's just no point in pulling him if you have the mob count already. Once you get down here, you just need someone to click the egg, and it'll start the gauntlet, and you will be in combat the entire time. Now, you have to kill a bunch of spiders, and then a pale orc, and eventually, once you kill a few waves of these, the boss itself will come down. Now, the Pale Orcs, what you can do with these, if you can actually tank them in her like little AoE she does there, and it won't kill your tank, but it actually does a massive amount of damage to anything she cleaves onto. So if your DPS is kind of slow on these, and you really want to kill them like fast, you can just tank them inside her little cleave, and she'll kill them. And it does a lot of, like, she does a lot of damage to them. So take advantage of this. It definitely helps a little. I mean, every little bit helps, right, to try and make that timer. Faster you kill them, faster things spawn, faster she comes down. See there, a DK brought him back in her cleave. Almost died, took a lot of damage. The next wave of spiders came out. It's pretty easy gauntlet. I mean, just make sure you kick the cast that the little spider does, and that's really all you need to do. Once you've killed the last spiders, she will actually descend from her web. This fight's pretty straightforward. Just kick as many of those abilities as you can, and pretty much nuke into the boss. You mostly want to kick the Venomous Sting. I mean, if you have enough interrupts, you can kick everything, but it's not really important to kick the others. As for the ad, you can just passively cleave it down. I would not single target it. And the reason why is because when she does use her hunger on the ad, all you have to do is polymorph it or hex it, and it actually interrupts her hunger channel. So you don't even have to deal with any of them. You literally just single target nuke into the boss, and she eventually dies. Very, very easy boss. You see here, she's about to consume a Pale Orc. JK, our shaman hexed the orc and interrupted her. So that saves a bit of time if you don't have the damage to like nuke down one of those crazed pale ones. Like if you don't have the damage to nuke a full one when she starts her consume. Because if she does get her consume off, she'll heal quite a bit. So if you don't have a shaman or a mage to hex or polymorph it, you can also, if they spawn far away, you can just freezing trap it as a hunter. And as long as they're CC'd, she won't eat them. Again, coming out, be careful, do not pull the spider, wait a few seconds to leave. If it is right next to the entrance of the cave, just do not pull the spider, go around it, take the long way. You have plenty of time to do this instance. Our shaman, our shaman got stuck actually. He didn't get out fast enough, so he had to wait for the spider. So he actually got stuck, and we ended up just waiting for him for like 30 seconds to a minute. So, like I said, you have plenty of time to make the timer here. Just, you know, don't mess up any of the pulls and don't wipe. And it's actually this used to be one of the harder instances, but now it's actually one of the easier instances. Once everyone's there, go ahead and go inside the portal. If you go inside the portal and don't move, it won't start the boss. So, but if you do move, it does start the boss. Just in case, like if you're waiting for someone, don't move, and it won't start the boss. Just go ahead and lust on this boss whenever you can. You should be lusting on a pull. It took us a little while because someone was a little late. I guess their computer's a little older, and it took them a while to load up, but. Just lust on the pole. Go ahead and DPS the entanglements, and the reason why you want to DPS them is because the mages help you out quite a bit. Every mage that lives does a lot of damage to the boss. Now here, because our DK had a lot of cooldowns, he didn't actually run over. We didn't really run over any plants. Like I stopped once they told me to stop. But if you're not confident, go ahead and run over them. It's not a big deal, and it really saves on a lot of damage. If you're a Death Knight, you can use Dark Sim on the Mandragoras and run into their breath, and then you can cast the breath onto the boss. And it does do quite a bit of damage. See, I got stunned, but, you know, I'm a Death Knight, so you can Icebound. So yeah, if you do have an ability that breaks stuns or CCs, mostly stuns, you can actually use it to break out of the entanglement, so you don't even have to kill them. But I mean, when he puts it on the NPCs, you do want to break them out. It does a lot of damage. Like, some of us weren't really breaking out the NPCs, but I think it's still worth breaking them out. I mean, it's like 200k health that they have, but they do more than that to the boss. See here, we pretty much did the same thing. Our tank, I guess, had enough cooldowns to live again. I don't advise you doing that unless you are very comfortable with tanking a lot of them, but it's up to you. This boss is actually one of the easier bosses. Shouldn't take too long to get it down. Anyways, that's it for Everbloom. It's finally here. I hope it helps you get your golds finally. I know a lot of people are missing this one for their 8 out of 8 gold, so here you go. I think it's actually one of the easier ones now. It's not as hard as it used to be, that's for sure. Up in front of you, you will see images of all 8 challenge modes. Just click on whichever one you want, and it'll bring you to my video guide for that one. If you enjoyed the guide, go ahead and subscribe, like it. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave a comment. Like if you think what we did was wrong, if you have a suggestion for what we're doing, or what you think is easier, or if you have a tip, or just anything like that, leave it in the comments. A lot of people like to read the comments, so that's pretty helpful. And other than that, have a good day.